Sio Yan sprinted down the corridor, her footsteps echoing off the walls. Tim Tim and Bim Bim suddenly appeared in front of her, and Sio Yan skidded to a stop. Tim Tim's concerned expression was mirrored by Bim Bim's, who asked, "Princess, what happened? Why are you crying?" Sio Yan sidestepped them and rushed out of the palace, mounting her horse and sobbing uncontrollably. She rode until she reached the serene Omtao river, its heavenly beauty a stark contrast to her turmoil. She dismounted and sat down under a banyan tree, her tears falling like rain. She murmured at the tree, "Everyone says you listen to everything, you help everyone, you're a God-given Messiah. If you're really so, help me, give me back my love." She sobbed, her body trembling, "Please. I can't live without him." Meanwhile, Hyan frantically searched for Sio Yan in the palace, the flower he had brought for her clutched in his hand. He approached Tim Tim and Bim Bim, inquiring if they had seen the princess. Tim Tim replied, "She prepared food for young Master Wei, but after going inside his chamber, we don't know why she burst into tears and fled." Bim Bim added, "Please find her, we're worried about her." Without responding, Hyan muttered, "I think I know where she might be." He swiftly exited the palace, mounted his horse, and rode towards the Omtao river. Upon arriving, he spotted Sio Yan sitting under the banyan tree. He hesitated and stood still. As he drew closer, he heard Sio Yan's anguished words, "What is missing? I've tried to love Wei with the same fervor as His Highness, but why does he always choose him over me? I love him so deeply, I feel incomplete without him." Her sobs intensified, and Hyan's heart ached. He whispered, "Princess," and Sio Yan turned to him. Hyan sat beside her, and she immediately wrapped her arms around him. "Hyan, tell me what's wrong. Didn't I love Wei enough? If so, why didn't he love me the way I did?" She clung to him tightly. Hyan hesitated before responding, "Princess, stop crying. Young Master Wei loves you." Sio Yan's eyes were red-rimmed. "If he does, why was he so close to His Highness? And it's not just this one time. I've poured my heart out to him, but he never responds the way I want. I've defied my father for him, but he doesn't even care." Her voice trembled, and Hyan's expression turned somber. "But, Princess, he loves you. He just needs time. You see, young Master Wei has lost his memory." Sio Yan retorted, "I'm angry with him. Now I'm not going to talk to him." Hyan counseled, "Princess, don't let this create conflict between you and him. Give him time. And you've prepared food for him, please take it to him, he'll be happy." Sio Yan shook her head. "It doesn't matter. He doesn't care." Hyan muttered, "He cares. Don't think that." Sio Yan replied, "But, it already fell down." Hyan offered, "Next time, then. But for now, stop crying. Didn't you know the rumors about this place? If you keep coming here like that, you exactly know what could happen." Sio Yan's face fell. "You're right." Hyan took out the flower from behind and said, "Don't be sad and look what I've brought for you." Sio Yan's gaze fell upon the flower Hyan produced, and her face lit up with a faint smile. "Thank you, Hyan. This is beautiful." She hugged him again, and Hyan whispered, "Not as beautiful as you." Sio Yan asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity, "Did you say something?" Hyan made a hasty excuse, "Princess, if anyone sees us like this, they'll misconstrue our intentions. You shouldn't hug me like that." Sio Yan nodded in understanding, and Hyan gently wiped away her tears. Sio Yan asked, "Will you mind if I give this flower to Wei? It's lovely. I want to give him this, he'll be happy." Hyan forced a smile, his heart heavy with unspoken emotions. "Sure, Princess." Sio Yan stood up, mounted her horse, and rode back towards the palace. Hyan remained still, his whispered words barely audible, "To see you happy, even if it means to see you with him, I'll accept it. As I strolled alongside Huan Shu, lost in his gaze, I accidentally collided with a maid carrying a bowl of steaming hot substance. The contents splashed onto my hand, causing intense itching and burning. I shouted, "Ah, what is this?" The maid retorted, "Child Wei, what have you done? Do you know how many hours it took to prepare this?" I caught a whiff of the pungent aroma and recoiled in disgust. What the hell is this? You were handling mercury." The maid's face contorted in anger. "Child Wei, what are you talking about? It's wonton soup. What would mercury be doing here?" I insisted, "This smells and feels like mercury. The texture and smell are unmistakable." The maid's ire intensified. "Child Wei, you're being disrespectful. This bowl took immense patience and time to prepare, and you've ruined it. What will His Majesty eat?" The commotion drew the attention of passers-by, who began whispering among themselves. Huan Shu intervened, grasping my arm and pulling me away. He instructed the maid, "Go prepare another bowl." The maid's expression turned comical, but Huan Shu's firm tone brooked no argument. "You're going or just creating a nuisance here?" She sneered and departed. Huan Shu led me away, his grip on my arm firm. I protested, "But, it was mercury, didn't you hear what she said? That's for His Majesty. If he eats it, he'll get ill." Huan Shu cut me off, his voice laced with frustration. "You're repeating your predecessor's mistakes. You'll ruin your own reputation all over again the same way you did before." I whispered, "What do you mean?" Huan Shu rolled his eyes. "Just nothing. And listen carefully, stop telling people that the wonton soup contains mercury and that His Majesty is secretly being fed mercury like you had done before and ruined your reputation. Do you want it to happen once again?" I thought in confusion, "You mean that Wei Liang had suspected that the soup contained mercury?" Huan Shu's response was curt. "Just focus on your own business. You're hungry, aren't you? Come and eat." He pulled me into his room, instructing, "Sit here. I'll bring food." As he left, my mind raced with thoughts. I couldn't shake the feeling that the substance was indeed mercury. My thoughts swirled with questions and concerns. Suddenly, a past flashback flooded my mind, transporting me back to my own era. As Predecessor and I headed toward the science lab with our classmates, one of the girls sneered at Hyan. "Hey, look, Riki." One of her bully members chimed in. "Hyan, what are you going to do?" Hyan replied, "See now what I'm gonna do. I'll make her regret it." Kang cautioned, "I think you shouldn't fight with her." Hyan cut her off. "Shut up. I know what to do." She strutted in front of me, attempting to trip me with her leg. But Pratiksha noticed it and quickly intervened, placing her foot to block Hyan's attempt. However, Hyan fell, grabbing onto me in the process. Just in time, Kaito appeared behind me, catching me in his arms. Hyan was on the floor, and Pkang and her gang burst into laughter. Pkang muttered, "I had told you not to go." Pratiksha sneered, "Look, you reached the place you belong." Hyan rolled her eyes and sneered at Pratiksha. "Ah, what the hell? You pushed me." She got up, and they started arguing. I pulled away from Kaito and grasped Pratiksha's arm, urging her to calm down. "Calm down, don't fight." Hyan's bully gang arrived, and Pkang said, "Yes, Riki, stop Pratiksha. She always fights with Hyan." Pratiksha said, "Oh, really? I don't think so. She was the one who came here to push Riki." Hyan said, "You pushed me, not me." Just then, our teacher arrived and said, "You girls never get along. Now stop fighting and get to your places. After class, both of you meet me in my chamber." Hyan sneered and left. I said to Pratiksha, "Look, I told you to stop. Did you like it when the teacher yelled at you like that?" "Because I didn't." Pratiksha said. You wanted me to just watch when she was tripping you on the floor. I looked down. I didn't mean that. Predecessor said. Okay, now let's go. After some time, we started doing some chemical reactions in a glass tube. There was mercury, and Arun and June were mixing it with another liquid. I wanted to touch the mercury, but June was holding it. When he finished pouring it, he put the remaining amount on a glass plate. I put a stick in it and started mixing it like a lunatic. Finally, I looked around, and no one was watching me. I was about to pour the mercury into my hand, but suddenly Kaito came from behind and took it away. He said, "Riki, you're not even wearing gloves. Mercury is really harmful. Don't pour it into your hand without gloves." I sneered, pulled back my hand, and said nonchalantly, "Okay." I looked away, and Kaito gave a firm smile. Just then, Arun said, "I remember something about mercury. You know, Predecessor, June, and Riki." We all looked at him, and Predecessor asked, "What do you remember?" He said, "I've read many books about ancient times, and you know, it's been seen many times that the closest person to the king would betray him. They secretly gave mercury to the king in very small amounts, so no one could discover it. And as years passed, the king died. And guess what? Those traitors became the next king, and no one even suspected because the king slowly fell ill." I asked, "But what about the son of the king?" Arun replied, "Those people behind it were really smart. They brainwashed people against the king's son and turned everyone against him. Then they became the next king." I asked, "But how did they feed him mercury?" Arun rolled his eyes and said, "I already told you. They mixed it into his favorite food, like tea or soup, which they gave him daily." I asked, "But what if it stopped midway? Would the king survive?" He replied, "It depends on how long he was eating it and in what amount. Let's say the mercury would work in 20 years. So, if it stopped within 12 years, with the correct medicine, there's a chance he could survive for more than 15 years. But if you stop it after 12 years, it's far better not to stop because survival chances are very low, and even stopping suddenly could cause a fast death. So it's better not to stop it." I said, "How cruel they were. They could even take a life for the throne." Arun said, "You don't even know 1% of it, and you're calling them cruel. How would you feel after knowing the 100%? I said, "You're right." I was about to ask more questions, but June cut me off. "Come on, guys, stop it. And Riki, you're also behaving like Arun, ancient era talk all the time." Predecessor added, "We'll discuss it in history class, but right now it's science class. Let's focus on our chemical reactions." The flashback memory ended, and I thought. So it means the king was being secretly fed mercury? I recalled reading a book Arun had brought, which mentioned that Huan Shu had killed his own father by poisoning him. However, the book didn't specify that the king died from slow poisoning. But does the soup really contain mercury, or not? It only smells like it. I couldn't say for sure it was mercury. Huan Shu told me I'm repeating my predecessor's mistakes, which implies Wei Liang also suspected the soup contained mercury. Could this be the secret Wei Liang knew? Maybe he knew who was giving the poison, which is why he was killed. Even I remember those assassins attacked me, maybe they're afraid everyone would know the truth. Wait. I wanted to save those villagers and find the real culprit. Could it be that the person giving the poison is the real culprit? Now that I know all this, I could save the villagers, but how will I prove it? And does the soup really contain mercury? If I can confirm that, things will become easier. But realization hit me fast. No, it won't be that easy. I've heard rumors that Wei Liang was killed intentionally because he knew some truth. If I try to investigate, they'll likely kill me too. Still, I need to find out what's going on and who the real traitor is. But who could it be? Does Huan Shu No, I don't think so. If he was, why would he save me? But I shouldn't trust anyone. Now I know I need to find out why Wei Liang is called a traitor, that would make things easier. But who will tell me the truth? Just then, Huan Shu entered the room, holding a tray of food. He sat down in front of me, his firm stare piercing through me as he began serving the dishes. The aroma of the food wafted toward me, and I immediately took the bowl, devouring the contents like I hadn't eaten in years. Huan Shu's voice cut through my hunger. Wei, the food isn't going anywhere. Eat slowly, or you'll choke. I replied. You don't know, I haven't eaten since yesterday afternoon. I had a small amount of lotus root soup, and to be honest, I'm so tired of eating lotus root. I've been eating only lotus root since I got here. Huan Shu's smile was tinged with sorrow as he muttered. You've changed quite a lot since you returned from your death. You always said you could spend your whole life eating lotus root soup, but now. His voice trailed off, leaving me wondering what he was thinking. I looked at him. Did you say something? He avoided my gaze, muttering. Nothing. I pressed high, I'm not going to eat THM. I thought you said something. Huan Shu's gaze fell upon my sword, where the iron mask was tied to it. Seeing this, he behaved as if it was no surprise to him. Then he served lotus root soup in a bowl. I said. Who did you bring it for? He replied with sarcasm. I brought it for you, but since you're tired of eating your favorite soup, I'll eat it instead. I thought to myself. Oh no, why did I forget I'm in Wei Liang's body? I have to behave like him, or he'll suspect me. As I watched Huan Shu eat, I noticed him meticulously picking out the coriander from the soup like a child. I chuckled, thinking of Kaito, who also disliked coriander in soup or anything. Both of them shared similar personalities, but Huan Shu seemed more endearing. Huan Shu looked at me and asked. Why are you laughing? I couldn't help but laugh louder, saying. Why are you taking the coriander out? Don't you like it? He nodded, and I whispered. Just like Kaito. He asked. Did you say something? I muttered. Nothing. After finishing our meal, I gazed at his hair and said. When was the last time you combed your hair? It looks like a bird's nest. Huan Shu's voice was low and filled with sorrow as he muttered. Since the day you left me. I said. Why do you always look so sad? Your face looks like a slime. Can't you smile? Huan Shu tried to pronounce the word. Sli, li. Me, sli, me, struggling with the sounds. I chuckled and said. You mean slime? He nodded. Yes. What is that? I replied. Nothing. Don't worry about it. But I want to say your hair is like a nest. Can I tie it? He hesitated, and I said. Come on, I've seen many ancient Chinese hairstyles. I bet I can make a good one for you that will look great. He made a confused face, and I crawled toward him, reaching out to touch his hair. However, he pulled my hand away, and I unknowingly sat in his lap. What? Why are you behaving like that? Let me do your hair, I said. Huan Shu smiled, his hand on my waist, and I said. Finally, a smile on your face. As I said this, the smile quickly faded. I said. Come on, smile. I took my hands and stretched his lips to make him smile. Huan Shu pulled my hands away gently and said. Stop it. I said, I'll stop if you let me do your hair. Huan Shu said, okay, I'll let you. He took his hands and touched my hair, sending shivers down my spine. I blushed. Huan Shu asked, it seems like you didn't comb your hair either. After you do mine, I'll do yours too. I exclaimed, you mean I can do yours? Huan Shu nodded and asked, so, are you going to sit like that here? Well. I don't have a problem if you do my hair like that. I blushed and immediately got up from his lap, and he chuckled. Feeling embarrassed, my gaze fell upon the shell necklace adorning Huan Shu's neck, and I asked, "Why are you wearing that shell as your necklace? You're a prince, you could have an expensive gold or diamond necklace. Why do you still wear this?" Huan Shu replied, "Someone special gave it to me." I inquired, "Someone special? What do you mean?" Huan Shu's eyes softened as he said, "A person who was very close to me when we were children gave it to me on my birthday." I pressed for more information. "Oh, so who is he?" Huan Shu's voice turned enigmatic as he said, "You'll soon know." I suggested, "I can make this necklace more beautiful. I would keep the same black thread and shell and add some more adornments to make it look more exquisite." Huan Shu cut me off, "That's a good idea, but not now. Go and take the comb, it's on the table." My gaze followed his instructions, and I saw a golden comb with beautiful embroidery patterns and blue gemstones that sparkled in the light. I picked it up. "Is it yours?" "It's so beautiful," I said. Huan Shu said, "It's yours, which you had given to me." I noticed something written on it and asked, "What is written on it?" Huan Shu's expression turned curious. "Did you forget your own language?" "It's really strange, Wei." I looked down, unsure of how to respond. I thought, why did I forget? I'm in Wei Liang's body, I shouldn't behave like that, or he'll suspect me. Before I could say anything, he interrupted, "Leave it. Now, come sit here, I'll do your hair." As I sat down, he retrieved some hairpins from the drawer and began styling my hair. I felt like a child as he gently combed my locks, working with the meticulous care of a devoted mother. As he worked, I winced in discomfort. "Ouch, it hurts," I said. Huan Shu's hands gentled. "I'll be gentle, it's just a bit tangled." When he finished, he handed me a mirror. I gazed at my reflection, stunned by Wei Liang's appearance. "Wei Liang is so beautiful," I whispered, touching my face in wonder. But then I noticed the resemblance, his eyes, nose, and lips were quite similar to mine. "Why?" I trailed off, lost in thought. Huan Shu waved his hand. "Wei, what are you thinking? Didn't you like it?" I hastily assured him, "No, it's looking so beautiful. My hair feels quite heavy, but it's worth it." He said, "Now, do my hair." He turned, and I began to style his locks, removing the numerous hairpins that weighed his hair down. As I worked, I marveled at the weight of the pins and wondered how he managed to walk with them. After several attempts, I finally styled his hair to my satisfaction. When he turned, my eyes widened in surprise, he looked even more handsome than I had imagined. I lost myself in his gaze, admiring him with unguarded intensity. Huan Shu's voice brought me back to reality. "What happened? Am I not looking good?" I composed myself and said, "No, you're looking so beautiful." He leaned in close, his face inches from mine, and asked, "Really?" Our gazes locked, and we were lost in the moment. Just then, a servant burst into the room, hastily entering without knocking. Your Highness," he exclaimed, only to fall silent when he saw us so close. He looked down, embarrassed, and I pulled away from Huan Shu. Huan Shu's expression turned stern. "The servant's manners are lacking. Don't you even know how to enter a room?" The servant apologized, "Forgive me, Your Highness." Huan Shu's tone turned urgent. "Now, tell me what's the reason for your interruption." The servant whispered, "It's about Shadow's daughter, Your Highness." Huan Shu's demeanor changed instantly, and he asked, "What happened to her?" The servant replied, "She's neighing in anger and not even listening to anyone." Huan Shu's face set in concern, and he rushed out of the room, leaving me alone with more questions than answers. Who was Shadow's daughter? And who's Shadow? And why was Huan Shu behaving so anxiously? I picked up the sword and started to follow him, walking into the yard where a baby black horse with a white tail, its tail shining like the sun, stood. The servants were trying to calm her down, but she jumped and neighed loudly, refusing to listen. Finally, Huan Shu approached her and attempted to calm her down, but she still wouldn't behave. As I gazed at the horse, I felt a deep sense of belonging towards her. Seeing her made me feel bad. Without thinking, I walked over and grasped her, hugging her tightly. To everyone's surprise, she calmed down immediately, and it seemed like she wanted to hold me too. The horse hugged me back, and Huan Shu smiled at the sight. As I tried to pull back, the horse bit my hanfu sleeves. I patted her head and muttered, "Horses need some time to understand their surrounding people. Horses are intelligent animals, they understand feelings. The way we behave with them, they'll behave the same way with us." I looked at the horse and asked, "Are you hungry? Please give me some hay bale." A servant handed me a hay bale, and I started feeding her. The horse didn't want to leave me. I gazed at Huan Shu and asked, "Whose horse is this? And where is her mother?" "She is sad without her mother, this horse is just a kid now." Huan Shu patted the horse but remained silent. I urged him, "Come on, you never say anything to me." Huan Shu replied, "When it's needed, you'll know, but not now." I said, "Just tell me." I don't know why whenever I ask anyone anything, they reply the same thing. "Can't you just say who's her owner?" He ignored me and kept patting the horse. I sneered, "Okay, and look how lonely she is. She needs some love and time. Even her mother is missing. And what's her name?" Huan Shu hesitated further. I rolled my eyes. "She doesn't even have a name." Just then, looking at the horse, I suddenly remembered my main goal. I couldn't waste this day too. I have to find the real criminal, and after proving those villagers innocent, I have to find a way to return to my own era. But the first thing to find out is if the soup had mercury or not. But how will I know? By a test, but I never listened to any lectures from my teacher in school. They taught many times about mercury. Now I regret why I never listened to them. I thought, maybe I could ask some doctors of this era, perhaps they know about a test to find out. I looked at Huan Shu, who was busy with the horse, and whispered to myself, "That's a good time. I should leave right now." As I was about to walk away secretly, the horse neighed and came in front of me, grabbing my sleeves tightly with her teeth. Her face became sad, like she didn't want to leave me. Seeing her eyes, I couldn't help the feeling of wanting to stay with her. Huan Shu said, "She met you after months, why are you leaving like that?" I muttered, "I see her sadness." Huan Shu said, "You said she needs some love and time, but why are you leaving her then?" I whispered, looking into the horse's big eyes, "I couldn't leave this horse like that, but if I don't, how will I find the real culprit?" The horse neighed. I asked, "Can I take her with me then?" Huan Shu hesitated, and before he could say no, I made an excuse. "If we leave her, she'll be even more sad. They need a big and open green place to live. Look at the environment she's in." Huan Shu covered my mouth with his hand and said, "Shu. You know too much about them." I pulled away his hand and muttered, "Because I have gone to many farms." Huan Shu made a confused face. I looked at the horse, and Huan Shu started walking, saying, "Come and take her along with yourself." I breathed a sigh of relief. At least he agreed. Now I have to leave him as I got a chance. I patted the horse and started walking with her. Just as I was walking, I spotted Qianli, who was talking to Yi Jin and Kim Jae. Seeing Qianli standing strong, I was shocked. As I knew just a few moments ago, he was not even able to talk, but now I couldn't help but go to him and ask, "Qianli, are you okay?" Qianli turned and said, "Yeah, I'm okay. What could happen to me?" I asked, "But last night, you were so weak, not even able to stand properly. But now you're too good. How could it be possible?" Yi Jin intervened, "Aren't you happy to see him good?" I hesitated. "I didn't mean that." Kim Jae said, "Yi Jin, he is not talking to you. And then, turning to me, Wei, what are you saying? He was with me last night. I muttered, that's not true. He was. Jean cut me off, his voice mocking, come on, first, you lose your memory, and now you're even getting weird illusions. Go check a physician and you could have a free checkup. Those two slaves of yours, what's their name? Yeah, Tong and Bao. I shouted, they are not my slaves. He interrupted, calm down, Wei. Whatever their relation to you, how would you even know? His voice was filled with sarcasm. You've lost your memory, after all. Let me tell you then, Tong's father is a physician, perhaps he can help. Unfortunately, they're not here at the moment, you'd need to visit their residence for an examination. Just then, Huan Shu appeared and said in a cold voice, what happened, Wei? Jean intervened with a mocking tone, Your Highness, take him to a physician. He is getting weird illusions. I felt a surge of anger and shouted, will you stop insulting me? I just came here to ask Qianli if he was okay or not, but you. Feeling regret for why I had come here to ask him about his condition, I left with the horse. Qianli's face was filled with unspoken words, hidden behind a mask of indifference. Huan Shu said to Jean, you know exactly what is happening to him, but ignoring it and continuing your past relationship with him is really a stupid thing to do. He doesn't even remember you, yet you keep behaving the same way toward him. Jean responded with sarcasm, sure, Your Highness. I'll try to behave. Huan Shu said, I don't care. Do whatever you want, but stay away from him. Jean stepped forward, looking straight into Huan Shu's eyes, so, how many people will you say this to? Huan Shu scoffed with a mocking tone, only you, because the others will be. Kim Jae intervened, Your Highness, Jean is just a lunatic. Why are you wasting your time on him? Jean gave a firm stare. Huan Shu shot back the same stare at him and walked away, muttering, hope you understand. Jean sneered after Huan Shu left. Kim Jae said, Jean, what's wrong with you? You're really rude. And you, Qianli, what was Wei Liang talking about? You were with me last night, right? Qianli made an excuse, I had some work. I'll explain later. He left. Kim Jae sneered at Jean, I'll go crazy dealing with this kind of people, and walked away. Thanks for watching. Do follow the original author of the story on Wattpad. Also, like and subscribe for more stories.